Okay, so we'll take a look at the examples real quick from this area, perimeter, and circumference stuff. Again, hopefully a lot of review. This one was pretty straightforward. This first example, find the perimeter and the area of the regular basketball, rectangular basketball court shown. Um, I'm not going to write it out, but it's pretty simple, right? So the perimeter is that formula that you have in your notes: 2L plus 2W, 2 times the length plus 2 times the W, area's length times width, and you have the length here is 84 and the width is 50, or you can flip-flop those and it doesn't really matter, right? So there we plug those in and we find the perimeter and the area. Again, I did make a big deal in class about units, so be careful. The perimeter is 268 feet. The area is 4,200 square feet, or of course written as feet squared. Um, you know, that's pretty terrible, but you get the point. Okay, just make sure you just watch your units. We want to make sure that we attach these all the time. Okay. Next one, the team patch. You're going to put a circular cloth patch on your soccer team's uniforms. Find and here's the kicker, the approximate circumference and area of the patch shown. Circumference 2 pi r or pi d. And since I already have the diameter, I'm going to go ahead and just use pi d. Area, though, we have to have the radius, and so we're going to have to figure that out. But circumference is just pi times, and this guy is the diameter, the 9 centimeters. And so we'd want to multiply out the 9 times pi. And again, I mentioned before that if you're looking for an approximate measurement, using 3.14 would be fine too. So either way, I like using pi just because it still kind of gives me a fairly accurate answer. But either way, you should get about 28.2. This is going to be centimeters for the circumference. And then the area, we're going to take pi and multiply it by not 9 squared, but 4.5 squared. Because we need the radius, and this is the diameter, then the radius is just cutting the diameter in half. Okay? So we want to multiply all that out. And you should get about 63.6 centimeters squared. Okay? But still, a lot of formula work, so hopefully not anything that you find too terribly difficult. This will take you through the solution, so blah, 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 blah. Okay, number 3, triangle QRS has vertices. Q, R, and S, those points there. What is the approximate perimeter? You can certainly plot this in a coordinate plane if you'd like, but in order to find the perimeter, we have to know the length of each side. And so that what that tells us is that we have to find the length of QR, the length of RS, and the length of QS. And the length of a segment is the same as the distance between its 2 points. And so now it becomes a matter of doing 3 distance formulas. Right? Distance formula says subtract the x's. So for QR, we're going to do 1 minus 4. Subtract the y's, which is going to be 2 minus 6. Square them, add them, and then square root. Okay, and so I'll show these numbers plugged in. So it should be 4 minus 5 squared plus 6 minus 2 squared. Okay, and then for QS, we're looking at 1 minus 5 squared plus, what is that, 2 minus 2 squared. Okay, and then you want to work those out, find those 3 lengths, and again, we're looking for approximate, so we can go ahead and square root when we're at the end here. And again, the distance formula is something that you're going to have to know, okay? So I wanted to show that to you. Then here's the answer that you should have come up with. The book did something a little bit different. They went ahead and plotted out the triangle and recognize that this guy is a horizontal line. So all you had to do really is use the ruler postulate, or in other words, subtract the x's and take the absolute value, and that would give you the length of QS. I went ahead and plugged in the distance formula. Either way is fine. You can get the same answer. So anyway, that's why QS, they're not doing the distance formula here, but you should get 4. QR is 5, and RS is about 4.1. So to find the perimeter, we're going to add up all those sides and get about 13.1 units, and that answer was C. Okay? Piece of cake. Next one is skating ring. An ice resurfacing machine called a Zamboni, right, is used to smooth the surface of the ice at a skating rink. The machine can resurface about 270 square yards of ice in 1 minute. So the question is, about how many minutes does it take the machine to resurface a rectangular skating rink that is 200 feet long and 90 feet wide? Of course, skating rinks aren't perfectly rectangular. They have curved, can't really call them curved corners. That's sort of an oxymoron. But anyway, just to make this problem a little bit easier to work with, we'll call it a rectangular rink that's 200 feet long and 90 feet wide. Well, since they gave us the 270 square yards of ice in 1 minute, that suggests that area. That's how much area the Zamboni can clear in 1 minute. So we're going to have to figure out how much area is in a rectangular skating rink that has these dimensions. Well, that's fine. It's rectangular, right? So the area is length times width. So we do 200 times 90, right? And we get 18,000. Now, look, it's feet. So feet squared. Okay? Now, the problem is this gave us the 270 square yards is not the same thing as square feet. So we have to find a way to convert. Okay? And whether you go back to science class, I think chemistry is pretty good, and I think physics is pretty good about doing some unit analysis, right? I know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. Okay? How many feet are in a square yard, though? Right? If I square this and square this, and this tells me that there is 9 square feet in 1 square yard. It's getting kind of hard to see. So my conversion factor is a 9 to 1, okay, or a 1 to 9. So I got more room on the next slide here, so I'll move over. Okay? So again, our area is 18,000 square feet, and I want to get this into yards, right? Well, I'm going to multiply by my conversion factor, and since feet squared is in the numerator, I'm going to put feet squared in the denominator over here. That's how unit analysis works, right? So I know there's 9 square feet in 1 square yard, and so that's the fraction I'm going to multiply the 18,000 by, which is really no big deal. So we multiply straight across, all we're going to get is 18,000 divided by 9, right? Which is 2,000, and now we're in square yards because these square feet will divide out. Okay, now the question didn't ask about how many square yards are in this rink. It wants to know how long is it going to take the Zamboni to clear it. Well, the Zamboni will do 270 square yards in a minute, right? So if we've got 2,000 square yards, we just divide by the 270 to find out how many minutes it's going to take. And we do that, and you get about 7.4. Okay? If you want to see that, we're back to unit analysis again, right? 2,000 square yards. Now, it says that he can clear 270 square yards in 1 minute. But I want my square yards, the 270, to be on the bottom here, so my square yards will divide out. And I've got my 1 minute here. That's your conversion factor. Okay? Square yards divide out, and that's why I was dividing. Now, a lot of you guys can probably just sort of reason your way through that, and that's fine. Just make sure you show the work there to divide that out. And so that's where we get to the 7.4 minutes. Okay? I wanted to show you this, though, this conversion factor here, because when we're working with squared units, the conversion factor is not as straightforward. You've got to make sure that you square the original conversion factor. Okay? 3 feet to 1 yard now becomes 9 feet squared to 1 yard squared, and it works for all units that way. So be careful. Okay? All right, this is going to be the book solution, so we'll kind of get through this. Okay? Now, last but not least, I think this is it. The base of a triangle is 28 meters. Its area is 308 square meters. Find the height of the triangle. Now, this one we're kind of working backwards, right? The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, now it becomes easy enough to just plug in what you know. We know the area already. It's 308. We know the base. The base is 28. And we're trying to find the height. Plug in the numbers. Hopefully you recognize, solve an equation. And now we're ready to rock and roll. Okay? And so the height simply becomes a matter of taking 308 divided by 14, and that's 22 meters. Okay? Just working backwards. We should be able to work backwards through these formulas as well. Okay, and here's the book solution I'll get through. And that's it. Quiz next time. So make sure you're ready for the quiz 1.5 to 1.7. We'll talk a little bit about Chapter 1 test review next time. And your homework is in Canvas. So do make sure that you're paying attention to the numbers that you have to do. All right? See you guys next time.